party and cement this, and to build a modern socialist country in all respects and achieve the great renewal of the Chinese nation. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core has attached great importance to the United Front work, held a string of important meetings, and formulated a series of regulations and documents, including the regulations on the CPC's United Front work, thus contributing to General Secretary Xi Jinping's important thoughts on strengthening and improving United Front work, which provide the fundamental guide for United Front work in the new era. Under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, now we are witnessing great harmony in the relations between different political parties, ethnic groups, religions, social groups, and Chinese at home and abroad. The United Front is now characterized by solidarity, an upward momentum, a pioneering spirit, and strong vitality, thus galvanizing all the Chinese people from home and abroad into the great endeavor to achieve the Chinese dream. Thank you. Now I'll give the floor to Foreign Vice Minister Guo Yewei of the International Department of the CPC Central Committee.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year marks the centenary of the founding of the CPC and of the external work of the party. Over the past 100 years, we're proud to say that the past 100 years has been a course of promoting the cause of the party and state, and also supporting the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. It was 100 years of promoting profound changes in the relationship between China and the world and between the CPC and the world. It was 100 years that oversaw the close connection between the fundamental interests of the Chinese people and the common interests of the world people, and also a new contribution being made by the party to human progress. Over the past 100 years, the party's external work has been closely related to the people. We have always followed the guidance of the theoretical achievement in adapting Marxism to the Chinese context, and this has been the guiding principle throughout China's multiple eras of revolution, development, and reform. Since the 18th Party National Congress, Comrade Xi Jinping, as the party's General Secretary, has given personal guidance and direction to the party's external work. He has also been personally involved in this endeavor, and we have made historic progress, and the CPC's international influence, appeal, and leading role has significantly been elevated, and more than ever, we are close to the center of the world stage of political parties. General Secretary Xi Jinping has made it clear that our external work is an important front line of the party, is an important part of the country's overall diplomacy, and an important demonstration of major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics. This provides the guidance for our external work in the new era. Since the founding of the party in 1921, the party's external work has been an important front line of the party. Political nature of the party's external work. In our work, we have made it very clear that it is about the party, for the party, and aimed at strengthening the party. It directly embodies the party's will, and this is a great cause that involves the entire party and its coordinated efforts. Ever since the founding of New China in 1949, the party's external work has been an important component of the country's overall diplomacy. This highlights the fact that our work has a strategic function. Through multi-tiered and multiple forms of political party exchanges, inter-party relationship has served a guiding, cementing, promoting, and securing the foundation of country-to-country relations. And we have helped build a new type of international relations through this endeavor. Since the 18th National Party Congress in 2012 and the beginning of the new era for socialism with Chinese characteristics, the party's external work has been an important demonstration of major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics. And we have fully drawn our strengths and highlighted political guidance and inherited the fine culture of the Chinese nation. The party's external work has possessed distinct Chinese vision and style.
The party maintains frequent contacts with over 560 political parties and organizations of more than 160 countries. We have friends around the world. Looking ahead, we will thoroughly implement the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for the new era based on the three important perspectives. We'll keep in mind both the internal and international imperatives, the main tasks of national rejuvenation and human progress, and what is vital for the country, and practice to uphold. While advancing the party's external work, we will combine such efforts with the implementation of the CPC Central Committee's major conclusions, strategies, and decisions. We'll firmly uphold the party's ruling status and institutional security and our nation's sovereignty, security, and development interests. With a keen understanding of the external environment and the historical juncture of China's development, we will look deep into the changes in the international landscape and serve as a good advisor and assistant to the party. We will continue to advance innovation in theories and practices and improve the strategic layout and architecture of our work. Will further institutionalize the CPC in dialogue with world political parties high-level meeting, be creative about telling the CPC story, contribute to high-quality Belt and the Road development, and facilitate the fostering of a new development paradigm. Together with political parties from around the world, we'll build a community with a shared future for mankind and a better world for all. Now, I'll give the floor to Mr. Han.
Good morning. Next, from the economic and social perspective, let me talk about the achievements and experience of the CPC's centenary. Looking back at the history of the past century, the CPC has been rallying and leading the Chinese people for unprecedented, arduous revolution and development to turn the weak and backward China into a prosperous and strong socialist new China, so that the Chinese people has been put on the path of rejuvenation. To realize the founder mission and original aspiration and pursue happiness for the people, the strong material support is needed. Under the leadership of the CPC, China's economy has taken off. In the past 70 years, since the founding of New China, the economy has grew by over 200 times. Now China's economy is ranking the second in the world, accounting for over 17% of the world's total. In the beginning stage of the PRC, we cannot even produce a tractor. Now China is the only country in the world that has all the industrial departments defined by the UN. China is the largest producer of over 220 industrial products, including cars and computers. China's economic and comprehensive strength has increased significantly, promising bright prospects for the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Under the leadership of the CPC, the Chinese people's lives have experienced sea changes. Early after the founding of the PRC, China's per capita income was only $27 when the life expectancy of 35 years old. Literacy for adults was 20%, which means an overwhelming majority of the population were illiterate. Infant mortality rate was as high as 200 per million. After 70 years of efforts, currently, China's per capita income has exceeded $10,000, and China's life expectancy was raised to 77.3 years. Education span of people aged 15 years and above reached 9.9 years old, and infant mortality rate was lowered to 5.6 per million. Since reform and opening up, 770 million rural population were lifted out of poverty, accounting for 70% of the global population that were lifted out of poverty. The 1,000 years long issue of poverty was historically resolved. China has completed the building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects and are marching toward the goal of common prosperity. Over the past 100 years, the CPC has accumulated a lot of valuable experience and knowledge in leading and promoting economic and social development. We need to strengthen the party's leadership over the economy, make development the top priority of the party's governance of the country, and pursue high-quality development. We are committed to reform and opening up, to upholding and improving the basic socialist economic system so that the market plays a decisive role in resource allocation and better playing the role of the government and conduct the win-win strategy of opening up. We build a market-oriented, world-class business environment, make innovation the first driving force of development, and accelerate the building of a major country of science and technology featuring self-strengthening. We put people first in improving people's lives and keep pursuing a better life for the people. We stay committed that clean water and lush mountains are mountains of gold and silver, and follow a development path featuring prosperity, well-being, and ecological soundness. In the new era, there are new missions. We need to follow the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at the core and the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, draw strength from the century-long history of the party, focus the new development stage, design, and strategic arrangement made by the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at the core. China's modernization has its distinctive features that are the following. First, China's modernization features the largest population. China has 1.4 billion people who are going to be modernized as a whole. This is unprecedented in human history, and that means requires a lot of efforts and means more difficulties to be overcome. It will also have a major impact on the world and also contribution to human progress. Second, China's modernization features common prosperity. Common prosperity is an essence of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We need to make the pie bigger, but also divide the pie better. In the process of modernization, we need to take the initiative to address inequality among regions between rural and urban areas and on income distribution. We need to prevent bifurcation so that all people can benefit from modernization. Third, China's modernization features coordination of material and cultural progresses. We stay committed to the core values of socialism and focus on conviction and ideal education and carry forward patriotism, collectivism, and heroism. We aim to combine material wealth as well as the comprehensive development of humans. Fourth, China's modernization features the harmonious coexistence between man and nature. We focus on the parallel progress of development and ecological progress. We do not follow the path of. We also follow the basic norms governing international relations, including peaceful coexistence and mutually beneficial cooperation. We oppose hegemonism and unilateralism and work for a community with a shared future for mankind. China's modernization is defined by prosperous, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful. We need to make progress in all the 5 fronts, which means material wealth, political progress, cultural progress, social progress, and ecological progress. The China-style modernization reflects the CPC's founding mission to pursue happiness of the people and rejuvenation of the nation. It also reflects the logic governing socialist development as well as human development. We will stay committed to party leadership, recognize the new development stage, stay committed to reform and open up, and conduct a systemic approach, and mobilize all forces to fully build a modern socialist country. Thank you. Next question. Thank you, with People's Daily. My question is for Minister Xu. The United Front is an important treasure that enabled the CPC's victory in revolution, development, and reform, as well as achievements in the new era. What are the experiences that we have learned?
Thank you for your question. In the CPC's century of extraordinary struggle for victory, a lot of experience has been gained on the United Front, which can be summarized as the following. First, commitment to the leadership of the CPC. The CPC's leadership is the most essential feature of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and the most salient feature of United Front work. It is only with the CPC that the United Front has a core to rally around. It is under the leadership of the CPC that the United Front can stride forward in the right direction. Second, commitment to the common theoretical and political foundation. The United Front holds high the banners of patriotism and socialism. On the mainland, socialism is the greatest consensus, and fully building a modern socialist country is the shared objective of all the Chinese people. Beyond the mainland, patriotism and supporting national reunification represent the greatest consensus, and achieving the great renewal of the Chinese nation is the shared aspiration of all the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation. Third, commitment to great solidarity and cohesion, galvanizing public support and strength, rallying all forces that could be rallied, and mobilizing all positive factors that could be mobilized to fight for the goals of the party remains the fundamental task of the United Front. Fourth, commitment to the larger interests of the work of the party and the country. The United Front will focus its combined efforts on where the party's central work is. The current priorities for the United Front are to actively promote relations between political parties, ethnic groups, religions, and social groups, and to enhance harmony among Chinese at home and abroad, to contribute to a modern socialist country in all respects and the great renewal of the Chinese nation, to help uphold and improve the socialist system with Chinese characteristics, advance state governance system, and modernization of governance capacity, to maintain social harmony and stability, safeguard the country's sovereignty, security, and development interests, and to help ensure lasting prosperity and stability of Hong Kong and Macau, and work for the full reunification of the motherland. Fifth, committed to seeking common ground while shelving differences. The United Front is where common ground and differences coexist. To expand common ground is the essential requirement of the work of the United Front. Whether differences are tolerated will have a direct bearing on the breadth and depth of the solidarity of the United Front. It is important to have the right approach to relations defined by both commonality and diversity, and to respect, uphold, and accommodate the interests of all the allied in the relations. Sixth, commitment to the general framework of the United Front work. Involved in sophisticated, wide-ranging, and long-term work, the United Front has its strength in unity and coordination. It is essential to establish a general framework of united front work led by the party committee, coordinated by the United Front Department, and with relevant authorities fulfilling their respective duties, and promote high-quality work of the United Front in the new era. Thank you.
Thank you. With China National Radio. Many foreign political parties and leaders have congratulated on the CPC's Centenary. Could you share some specific information about those congratulatory messages? How do they comment on the CPC? Thank you.
Let me take main leaders of political parties have sent such messages, and the work on this is still going on. And among these messages that we have received, and also among the daily exchanges between foreign political parties and the CPC, we can see keen attention on the work of the CPC. And for these foreign political parties, they see the work of the CPC as having 5 special features. First, keeping up with the times. They see that the CPC has been adapting theories to China's reality in applying Marxism, and we have established a theoretical system that keeps abreast of the times. And the second feature is to put people first and to seek the happiness of the people. Many leaders of political parties from around the world have expressed the conviction that the CPC has embarked on an extraordinary journey of sharing will and woe with the people, and the reason of our success is our commitment to seeking a happy life for our people. And for them, the third feature of the CPC is that it has kept strengthening its institutions and maintained its vigor and vitality. Full and strict party governance of the CPC demonstrates the extraordinary courage of the CPC. It has laid a solid foundation of the party's governance and has won the support of the people. And the fourth feature is the strong leadership and combat effectiveness. They believe that our extraordinary leadership and execution power provide strong support for all undertakings in the country. And this has been the key reason why the CPC has been able to go from victory to victory. And the fifth feature is our care and compassion for the world community and our global vision. They highly appreciate human progress. We have provided visions and approaches and solutions that act as source of hope and confidence for the world. These messages also convey the world's expectation for the CPC at a new starting point. They believe and hope that the CPC will lead the people of China in overcoming the future risks and challenges and achieving the second centenary goal according to the time frame, and also contributing to the well-being of people around the world. They also hope that the CPC will fully respond to the concerns of developing countries and the political parties of other countries, and also find more ways and channels to share the experience in party and state governance, and also in having more exchanges with other political parties of the world, so that the whole world can achieve fast progress in modernization and national development. They also hope that the CPC will be able to provide an inexhaustible source of public good in vision and in thinking, in addressing challenges such as security, climate change, development gap, and so on, and to contribute to a peaceful, safe, and prosperous world. And we can also tell that these political parties are closely following the leader of our party and Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. They believe that Comrade Xi Jinping is a great Chinese leader that has emerged during the many practices of the party, and also he has been a world-class leader contributing important thoughts and practices to the world. They are deeply impressed by what was said by Comrade Xi Jinping, by his vision and character, including what he said about putting aside his own well-being for the well-being of the people, and also his courage for reform and the political wisdom of achieving actual results for the people, and his vision and the strategic sense of what is best for his country. And they say that he is the chief architect of Chinese nation's rejuvenation, and also he has been the source of new solutions and guidance for the world to respond to various challenges, and he's a leader that has brought hope for the world. Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, and the relevant practices of implementing this thought is also a key focus in the messages sent to us by the foreign political parties. This thought, they say, has guided the country towards enormous changes and achievements. It is also important worldwide. First, it opens up new vistas for the development of socialism. His important thought belongs to all countries' endeavors and the political parties that seek progress for the people and for their countries. It represents exploration efforts for a great and brighter future for the world. And second, this thought injects impetus to human progress. They believe that this thought has captured the logic between national governance and party governance. On both fronts, this thought has proven successful and has deepened people's knowledge of the law of human development. And third, for people's modernization drive, this thought provides a new path forward. They believe that China's miracles have encouraged the developing countries, and China's path is a new option for other countries' path towards development. And fourth, for international governance, this thought points the way forward. They believe that this thought, along with the many thinking it brings along, for instance, Belt and Road Initiative, Community with a Shared Future for Mankind, and a new type of international relations, provides new thought and experience on international relations and kindles the dream for a better world. Me and my colleagues are working on compiling these messages and publishing those messages. When that happens, you will see the specific message on what I have been briefing you, and we can all see that General Secretary Xi Jinping is the core of the party central leadership and the party as a whole, and the central pillar of our path towards rejuvenation of the nation, and he provides the fundamental guidance to our endeavors, and also the leadership core of the Party Central Committee, and is closely connected to the future of the people and of our country. And according to these messages, they say that the CPC is indeed the key to having a correct understanding of China today and China in the future. So as we embark on the new historic journey, as we celebrate this centenary, indeed, we will be keenly responding to the hope and expectations of the world. We will continue to tell well the story of the CPC and of the country, and how the CPC has led the Chinese people in achieving the Chinese dream, and we will be helping the world better understand the CPC and what we have done for the country's reform and modernization, and to seek more sympathy and support for these endeavors. Thank you.
南区前排那位男士。
你好，我是。
With Itatas from Russia, I have two questions about the CPC's relations with the international community. First, What's the most important blessing of the CPC centenary to the Russian people and the people of the whole world? Second, on the Hainan Free Trade Port. In the next 100 years, what are the CPC's expectations for the Hainan Free Trade Port? Well, let me ask Minister Guo to take your question first.
感谢这位来自俄罗斯的朋友的提问。在习近平主席和
Well, thank you for the question. With the guidance of President Xi Jinping and President Putin, the relations between China and Russia have been cruising at a high level. The two presidents have decided to establish a comprehensive strategic partnership for coordination in the new era. The two countries are advancing the relationship between China and Russia, as well as achieving important achievements for the practical cooperation. The two countries' coordination in international arena have also given a strong boost to global peace, stability, and growth. Since COVID-19, the two presidents have maintained close strategic communication. On each other's core interests, we have given each other firm support, which is a full demonstration of the high level of China-Russia relationship. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the China-Russia Treaty on Good Neighborliness and Friendship. We will continue to advance the relationship with wider and deeper perspectives. Currently, the China-Russia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership for Coordination for a New Era have become a force for stability and in the international arena, and also become a paradigm for state-to-state relations, delivering tangible benefits to the people of the two countries. Our strategic mutual trust have also reached a new level. It has become an important force for the peace and stability of the international landscape. The interpolitical party exchanges are also an important part of China-Russia relations. The CPC has close relations with the United Russia Party, the Russian Communist Party, as well as other political parties that serve in the Russian National Duma. And we have carried out exchanges at all levels. Let me point out the following features of our relations. That is wide coverage, high level of exchanges, a well-developed institutional arrangement, and strategic communication. This is a paradigm of the interpolitical party exchanges between countries. Now we are deepening exchanges on governance of the country, as well as carry out information sharing on issues of shared interest. We are having exchanges on the development of each other's countries. Our political parties will also hold important commemorations for the centenary, and we will send greetings to the Russian people as well. I myself, as a representative from the party's external work, let me say that we will never forget that after the October Revolution of Russia, we have received Marxism from Russia that has saved China. And in the early years of revolution, the CPC has established close relationship with the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. The 6th Party Congress of the CPC was the only overseas congress that was convened by CPC. In the early 20th century, many Communist Party members of China have been traveling to Soviet Union to study, and they have come back to contribute to China's development. During the Second World War, China and the Soviet Union have fought side by side together, making significant sacrifice for global peace. It was also a large group of Soviet experts who have come to China to found the basis of China's industrial development. Standing at a new historical starting point, the CPC is rallying all Chinese people to fully build a modern socialist country. The Russian people are also securing new achievements for national development. We are glad to see stability, well-being, and well-being of the people of Russia. President Putin has also decided on the major strategic goals and tasks for 2030. We have full confidence in the development of Russia, and we are convinced that under the leadership of President Putin, Russia will achieve its goals of national jubilation, and we wish Russia even greater progress in this path of development, and we also wish happiness and tranquility of each and every family of Russia. During COVID-19, we also wish that all countries will work together to secure new victories against the virus and return to normalcy as early as possible. We send our best wishes to all political parties in both China, Russia, and other countries to contribute our collective efforts to the development of the country. On the Hainan Free Trade Port, let me give the floor to Minister Han. Well, as we all know, starting from 1980, China has been setting up special economic zones like Shenzhen, and after that, we have been working to advance the opening up of the coastal regions and border areas. And in 2020, we set up the Hainan Free Trade Port. This shows that China's doors of opening up will become even wider in the world, in the future. The establishment of the Free Trade Port of Hainan was personally decided by General Secretary Xi Jinping, and it is also a major milestone in the new landscape of opening up of China. Currently, the overall plan for the development of the Free Trade Port and the Free Trade Port law were already adopted. The paid-in investment increased by 4 times, and trading goods increased by 38.5%. Under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, smooth progress has been made in the Hainan Free Trade Port. It has become an important destination of investment and business operation. The key is to follow the socialism system with Chinese characteristics and align with high-level trade investment standards. We will focus on the institutional reform and make this an important component of our effort to advance opening up. The CPC Central Committee have 3 important roadmaps for the port. First, by 2025, we'll build a port featuring trade and investment liberalization and facilitation. Second, by 2035, the port will become a new height for China's open economy. Third, by the 2050s, we will comprehensively build a high-level free trade port that has international influence. We have a lot of expectations as well as full confidence for the development of the port. Thank you. Next question. Thank you. With CCTV. In the past 100 years, the CPC has always conducted strict party discipline. Particularly after the 18th Party Congress, there has been enormous achievements in this regard. And it is also widely commended by the Chinese people as well as the international community. What achievements have been made since the 18th Party Congress in terms of comprehensive party discipline? Thank you.
I give the floor to Mr. Xiao Pei. Ones who know themselves can excel, and this is what General Secretary Xi Jinping said at the conference marking the 80th anniversary of the Long March. To have the courage to launch self-reform and exercise full and strict party governance is a distinctive part of our party's character. Since the 18th National Party Congress, a defining feature of our governance is to have full and strict party governance. And in this endeavor, we have made historic and groundbreaking achievement, which has had all-round and lasting impact. And this has completely changed the conduct and outlook of our party. This is demonstrated in 4 ways. First, we have unequivocally upheld the leadership of the party and strengthened party building. At the end of the 18th National Party Congress, when meeting the press, General Secretary Xi Jinping said that the goal of our party is to achieve a better life for the people. There are many areas in which the people are not yet fully happy with the party, so we must exercise full and strict party governance. 2 years later, in December 2014, when General Secretary inspected the Jiangsu province on an island called the Shiye town, an old party member, Cui Yonghai, said to General Secretary Xi that you are the enemy of corruption and also who brings good news to the people and happiness to the people. By then, we have handled 83 officials in the party, and General Secretary Xi Jinping said that we must exercise full and strict governance, and it was during that inspection tour that this endeavor became one component of the four-pronged comprehensive strategy. And the fundamental goal of full and strict party governance is to strengthen and uphold the party's leadership and party building. This is to ensure that the party will always be the strong leadership core of building socialism with Chinese characteristics. Under the party's leadership, the entire party has been working together to fully step up to their political responsibility, and this has improved the party's conduct, and the problem of lacking party building and lax and weak party governance have been corrected. We have cemented the weakened positions of the party, and the party has gained a completely new look. And in ending extreme poverty, in achieving initial prosperity, and in fighting COVID, the party's flag has been flying high. We have given full play to our strengths in leadership, organization, and institutions, and they have helped us secure victory after victory. And this process has demonstrated the authority and the leadership of the party as the most important backing for the cause of the people and of the country. And the second, we have firmly strengthened party building, and the political building has been put first in this endeavor. We have been upholding the authority and centralized unified leadership of the party central committee. And this is the most important and highest principle of the party. The goal is to ensure that we can fully implement the party's line, and we can ensure that the decisions of the party and the good policies benefiting the people can be effectively implemented and produce real results. And under the leadership of the Party Central Committee, our Discipline Inspection Commission has adopted a decision and principles regarding intra-party political activities in the new era, and implementing the principles of party institutions, and to ensure that political activities are carried out in earnest, and to ensure that there can be sound political ecosystem. And this has also helped ensure that people who are disloyal, who engage in double dealing and duplicity, who do not implement party decisions in earnest, who commit corruption violations, will be held accountable. And this is to ensure party unity and the authority and the centralized unified leadership of the Party Central Committee. And third, we have ensured that we can ensure sound party conduct, we can strengthen party discipline and fight corruption so that we can remove what we call the viruses that attack the party's health. So since the 18th Party National Congress, we have been able to achieve a sweeping victory in anti-corruption. The key reason is that General Secretary Xi Jinping has required us that all members of the party will not be able, and will have no desire to be corrupt, and that we must make coordinated and unified efforts in this endeavor. And our result is that we have addressed both the symptoms and the root causes of corruption, and this is a result of our systemic effort. That is what has made achievement in this area possible. First of all, in terms of party conduct, just a few days after the conclusion of the 18th National Party Congress, the 15th of November, at the first plenum of the 19th Central Committee, and just in a few days after that, the 8-point decision on party conduct was adopted. And according to General Secretary Xi Jinping, this was a crucial step that got all sectors of the party moving in improving party conduct. And General Secretary Xi Jinping has been leading by example and has made tireless efforts to ensure that the party can present a golden name card in ensuring sound party conduct and discipline. And efforts have been made in a sustained and strenuous way for people using public funds to engage in tourism, to hold conferences and entertainment activities, and to send briberies. We have addressed all of those problems one by one with concrete efforts. Year after year, we have been endeavoring to address those problems. And up till now, for 93 months in a row, our commission has published reports on how we have addressed violations against the 8-point decision. And for the Central Committee itself, it has also avoided bureaucratism and formalities for formalities' sake, for those that only shout slogans and do not earnestly or seriously implement party decisions, for those having the wrong type of awareness of building vanity projects, of those who respond to party inspection and examinations with only paperwork, not concrete actions. We have addressed those issues head-on to ensure that the people feel happy and secure about what the party is doing for them, so that with real efforts we can uphold social equity and justice. And also, party discipline is very important for ensuring sound party conduct. And under the leadership of the Party Central Committee, discipline building has become a part and parcel of party building. Following 18th and 19th Party National Congresses, we have twice amended the discipline action provisions so that by managing the crucial field, we have been able to implement disciplinary regulations across the party, and we have been specifically highlighting the importance of strict discipline. We have addressed problems in their nascent stage, and we have addressed party officials in using their special resources to seek their self-interests. And we have addressed the issues of the relatives of party officials, like spouses and children in running businesses, and we have cleared the thought that people can use their privileges to engage in unjustified and criminal behavior. So we have fully consolidated the sweeping victory of anti-corruption, and following the 18th Party National Congress, the party has taken drastic measures to hold those corrupt accountable, and we have demonstrated strong determination to fight corruption. We have fought tigers and flies, so to speak. And under the strong leadership of the Party Central Committee, our commission, since the 18th National Party Congress, has investigated 453 party officials under central authority, and using 4 forms of oversight, we have reprimanded, educated, and sanctioned 8.834 million people. We have handled 626.5 thousand violations. Against the 8-point decision, and we have handled 322,000 people in violation of the rule against formalities for formalities' sake, and we have addressed more than 390,000 cases harming people's interests and handled 359,000 people. We have handled 280,000 cases involving 188,000 people in poverty reduction related cases, and we have addressed 93,000 cases involving 84,000 people in addressing gangs and ringleaders engaged in criminal activities. So you see, in the entire history of the Chinese nation, this has been a rare case, such strong determination, and this is a new chapter of anti-corruption in the party's history. And also, we have strengthened the oversight system of the party and the state. So punishment is really a means towards an end, that is to improve and enhance the party's governance. So under the leadership of the Central Party Committee, what we want is to have full coverage in oversight and discipline inspection, to strengthen the institutions, to ensure that there is effective oversight and constraints over the power of officials, and we can have interconnected mechanisms and institutions towards this endeavor. Since the 18th National Party Congress, we have been firm in our determination to govern the party well, and we have addressed problems that were thought impossible to address for many years. We have addressed long-standing issues that were thought impossible many years ago, and we have strengthened the party's organization, conduct, and health. And by the end of last year, according to a survey of the National Statistics Bureau, 95.8% of the Chinese people were full of confidence of the party's result in anti-corruption. That was 16.5 percentage points higher than the survey done in 2012. So our party has been able to found a way towards self-reform, self-improvement, to ensure progress and the purity of itself. Thank you.
那位先生。
谢谢主持人。日本经济新闻。
Thank you. With Nikkei. In terms of GDP growth, China has bounced back to pre-COVID level, but employment, income and consumption remain weak. In the latter half of this year, to boost recovery in the household sector, what measures will the country take? Minister Han, please. Under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at the core, China is coordinating COVID response as well as economic and social development. We have made important progress. Last year, China's economy grew by 2.3%, making it the only major economy featuring positive growth last year. In the first quarter, China's economy grew by 18.3% on a recovery basis. It was mainly the result of last year's low base numbers. From services, investment, export, the economy continues to grow with a stronger indigenous force for growth. The surveyed unemployment rate was 5% in May, which was lower than the pre-COVID level in 2019. At the same time, we can see that across different sectors and businesses, the recovery remains unimbalanced. On transport and tourism, the recovery is lagging behind. and SMEs still face a lot of challenges. Going forward, we will continue to promote progress while maintaining stability. Alongside COVID-19 response, we will continue to implement the proactive fiscal policy and prudent monetary policy, maintain the continuity and sustainability of our policies, and make them more targeted. We will step up support for SMEs, focus on domestic demand, particularly the recovery of consumption. We will put employment first, consolidate and expand the progress in poverty alleviation, improve the social security network, and aim for continued expansion of domestic demand based on the growth of income of residents. We will continue to ensure employment, improve people's well-being, and form a pattern of reinforcing effects of growth, consumption, and employment. At the same time, we will strengthen international macro coordination and work together for global recovery and the stability and unimpeded operation of the global supply and industrial chains. We're convinced that the balanced, sustainable, and coordinated recovery of the Chinese economy is going to be expected, delivering more benefits to the Chinese people. It will also contribute to global economic recovery. Thank you. Next question. Thank you. With Economic Daily. Since the founding of the People's Republic of China, particularly after reform and opening up, the private sector has been developing robustly and come a long way. How do you see the role and contribution of the private sector in the development of the economy? Thank you.
Thank you for your interest in the private sector. As we all know, the private sector is the important economic foundation for upholding and developing socialism with Chinese characteristics. The CPC Central Committee attaches great importance to the private sector. On November the 1st, 2018, General Secretary Xi Jinping pointed out at the seminar with the private sector that private companies and entrepreneurs are our own people. They're one of us. And that really resonated all the private businesses people at the seminar and around the country. General Secretary Xi also made important remarks on multiple occasions about promoting sound development of the private sector and the growth of those working in the sector. He stressed the need to never waver in cementing and developing the public sector and encouraging, supporting, and guiding the development of the non-public sector. So this is what we often emphasize, to sound development and to never wavering. On promoting the sound development of the private sector, the State Council and local governments at all levels have introduced a series of policy measures to foster an enabling policy, legal, market, and social environment for the private sector. And a lot has been done to protect their legitimate rights and interests in accordance with the law. On promoting the growth of those working in the private sector, the policies of trust, solidarity, service, guidance, and education must be fully implemented to encourage patriotism, professionalism, innovation, respect for the rule of law, credibility and contribution from those working in the private sector so that they could also contribute their share to socialism with Chinese characteristics. Since reform and opening up, under the support of the party and the government, the private sector has been growing and flourishing. And it has played an irreplaceable role in advancing development, improving people's well-being, spurring innovation, deepening reform, and expanding opening up. The role of the private sector is best explained in the following figures. It contributes to over 50% of the tax revenues, over 60% of the GDP, more than 70% of the technological innovations, and Huawei is a very good case in point. Over 80% of the urban jobs and more than 90% of businesses in China also come from the private sector. By the end of 2020, there were 40 million private companies in China, with a clear increase in the overall scale and quality of the Chinese firms listed among the world's top 500. And we're delighted to see that while promoting their own development, private businesses are also giving back to the society. And I can share with you some statistics. In September 2015, the All China Federation of Industry and Commerce, the State Council Poverty Alleviation Office, and the China Society for Promotion of the Guancai Program jointly launched a targeted poverty reduction campaign pairing more than 10,000 private companies with over 10,000 poor villages. By the end of 2020, 127,000 private companies have helped lift 139,000 villages out of poverty, with industrial investment of 110.59 billion yuan and public good investment of 16.86 billion yuan. More than 900,000 people landed jobs thanks to this campaign, which helped to create opportunities and benefits for over 18 million people registered as living in poverty. And also in the fight against COVID-19, the private sector donated altogether 17.2 billion yuan, accounting for about 60% of all the donations from the society. In addition to the 11.9 billion yuan of supplies it also donated, the private sector, in response to the call of the party, also carried out the production and delivery of anti-epidemic supplies, resumed business in an orderly manner, and contributed their share to the coordinated efforts for COVID response and economic and social development. Thank you.
前排这位女士。
Thank you with China News Service. Reports show a 90% approval rating for the party's anti-corruption work. Just now, Secretary Xiao mentioned twice that overwhelming victory was achieved in anti-corruption work, which was also mentioned in the 5th plenary session of the 19th Central Committee on Discipline Inspection. So what are the specific information in this area? Thank you.
The fight against corruption must achieve a sweeping victory. This is a strategic goal put forward in the 19th National Party Congress, and according to the 6th requirement of Section 3 of the Congress report, it says that we must achieve and consolidate the sweeping victory of anti-corruption. This was also an important judgment passed by General Secretary Xi Jinping at the relevant party meeting. So we have doubled our effort to ensure that there can be a sweeping victory against corruption. It requires whole of the party approach. The entire party must step up to the responsibility of anti-corruption. We have achieved this. This has come into shape. So anti-corruption under the leadership of the Party Central Committee has become an endeavor where there is zero no-go zones, there is full coverage, and there is zero tolerance. And we can see that there is strong deterrence, and every case discovered is dealt with. This has become the new normal. This is what a sweeping victory means. And we have established a situation in which party members do not dare and are not able to and do not desire to be corrupt. We have put in place the institutions and the mechanisms needed for this. At the second plenum of the 18th Discipline Inspection Commission, General Secretary Xi Jinping said that we must be firmly committed to anti-corruption. This is a show of strength of our party. Whoever it is, no matter what kind of high rank he holds, as long as he is in violation of party discipline and the country's laws, he must be held accountable and brought to justice. This is not an empty promise. The Central Committee of the party has kept its words and taken firm actions. Throughout the past 8 years, General Secretary Xi Jinping has led us on many important new struggles, and anti-corruption is an important battle of it. And this is also part of our self-reform and strong and strict party governance. This is a tough battle. Throughout the past 8 years, General Secretary Xi Jinping has told the party time and again that corruption has the biggest detriment to the party's governance. It is most harmful, and corruption is the easiest way to overthrow a party governing the country. So anti-corruption is a battle that we cannot afford and must not lose. So, as General Secretary Xi said, public support is the biggest politics. If we don't handle the thousands of corrupt officials, we would be losing our confidence in the 1.4 billion people. So in uniting the party and the whole country, anti-corruption is of crucial importance. That is why we have engaged in this struggle. We have the right theories and set the right goals and taken the right actions and achieved the right results in this endeavor. We have established the system and the institutions under the centralized and unified leadership of the party Central Committee. And we have seen the coordinated efforts among party committees, and the discipline inspection and supervisory commissions have also carried out organization work together, and people are supportive of this endeavor. And at different levels of party committees, we have seen responsibilities being fulfilled. And the Party Central Committee has been deepening the reform of the supervisory system. So they have integrated the reforms of the discipline inspection and the supervisory systems. And it has established the National Supervision Commission and such commissions at different levels. We have pooled strength and resources from various levels and across the country to engage in anti-corruption, and this has strengthened the party's all-round and full process leadership of anti-corruption endeavors. And also we have established the principles in anti-corruption, the 3 commitments according to the report of the 19th Party Central Committee, Party Central Congress. We have kept the pressure up. We have focused on deterring and curbing corruptions. We have investigated people both offering and receiving bribes. This has played a strong role in deterring corruption activities, and we have kept a close eye on key individuals and key areas, those who have refused to stop violations and those who have received complaints from the people most. And also we have focused on financial, state-owned enterprises, judicial, education, healthcare areas. We have kept a close eye on corruption cases close to the people, and also the cases which harm people's interests. We have also kept a close eye on corruption concerning people's livelihoods and also in protecting the environment, in financial platforms, in financial risks related areas, we have had taken strong actions to deter and investigate corruption cases. And also, we have taken coordinated and unified actions to ensure that people do not want to and do not dare to be corrupt. This is an important aspect of full and strict party governance. After the 18th Party National Congress, one of the priorities established was to fight corruption. So we have focused on addressing the symptoms to win time for addressing the root causes and to deepen reforms. And after the 19th National Party Congress, General Secretary Xi Jinping has said that there should be no stop to fight corruption, and an integrated approach should be adopted to deepen those efforts. So fundamentally, people must not dare to be corrupt. This is the precondition for anti-corruption struggles. And the key is to enhance institutions, supervision, reform, and to remove institutional barriers so that people will not be able to be corrupt. And also, a very important part of this endeavor is to make sure that the people do not have the desire to be corrupt. So this has become a lifelong task for all party members so that we have effective ways to prevent people from being corrupt. And what we have achieved is that party members now do not dare to be corrupt out of reverence for the rules, and they cannot be corrupt because the institutions bar them from doing so, and they have gained the awareness of not having the desire to be corrupt. And so far, we have investigated 3.8 million cases of corruption, and we have handled 4.08 million people. So you can see the extent to which we have carried out this fight against corruption. And we have given disciplinary and administrative punishment to 3.742 million people. And since the 19th Party National Congress, because of the right policy and actions we have taken, there are people who have voluntarily approached the authorities to turn themselves in, and there are 42,000 people who have done so. And since 2014, we have engaged in a Skynight operation, and we have brought back corrupt officials at large, altogether 9,165 of them from over 120 countries, and 2,408 of them are party members and state functionaries. We have recovered 21.739 billion RMB yuan of illegal proceeds from those cases, and we have brought back 60 from the most wanted list. And also, we have strengthened the rule of law. At the second plenum of the 18th Discipline Inspection Commission 8 years ago, General Secretary Xi Jinping emphasized the need to enhance the rule of law to support the fight against corruption. So we have revised the anti-corruption law, the Constitution, and also we have formulated legislation on supervision, on administrative punishment, on the criminal code, and so on. So all these efforts are a response to people's call, and we have purified the party, and we have truly fought a war that has won the support of the people. This has been an extraordinary and massively effective fight, and we have successfully embarked on the path that relies on the party's leadership, that relies on the socialism-based rule of law with Chinese characteristics to address corruption. Thank you.
第四位先生，这一排第四位先生。
Thank you. With Macau Daily. It was just now mentioned that the CPC maintains regular contact with over 560 political parties and organizations from 160 countries. So my question is, going forward, in the CPC's external work, what role will it play? Thank you.
好，谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your question. In fact, in the opening remarks, I have already given a brief overview of the role of the party's external work in its revolution, development, and reform. And to answer your question, I will focus on the period since 2012. The party held its 18th National Congress, and as we move into the new era. In this new era, the CPC has put forth new requirements for the external relations work, and we need to play new roles in this new era. First, we need to fulfill our role in serving as an important front of the party. We will focus on serving the major decisions of the CPC Central Committee and the decisions of the General Secretary Xi, and shoulder our political responsibilities, practice to uphold and work to resolve the negative factors in the external environment, to cement the foundation of the CPC and carry out studies on some major theoretical issues and practices, and serve as a good advisor of the party, and also carry out political and public diplomacy to promote and tell the story of the CPC. Second, we should also further play our role in enhancing the CPC's international influence, appeal, and power to shape. We have actively responded to the concerns from the international community, and we have held 14 meetings and seminars on promoting the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics. We also held more than 160 online events on this matter. And this year, in light of the COVID situation and COVID safety protocols, we also held more than 150 online and offline events focused on innovative green development, poverty reduction, and the implementation of our national blueprint to help the international community gain a more in-depth and accurate understanding of the original aspirations and missions of the CPC, so that they would have a comprehensive understanding of the path, experience, and the theories of the CPC, and they would have the right understanding and perspective of China and the CPC. Third, we would also further play our role in help building a new type of political party relations and serving the major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics. In the spirit of mutual respect and mutual learning, our department has been actively developing our relations with other political parties. For example, we have stepped up our contacts with the political parties with Cuba, Vietnam, and other socialist countries to cement the foundation of our political relations. We have also stepped up our contacts and relations with the political parties with other major countries, our neighbors, and other developing countries. We are also committed to building a network of political party relations to cement support for the work, for the external work of the CPC. So far, we have established and maintained frequent contacts with 544 political parties and 16 political organizations from 164 countries, and about 160 of those political parties are ruling parties, and some are participatory parties. And also, there are about 200 political parties who have major influence in their political life. So the CPC has been expanding its circle of friends, and we have a lot to look forward to in the future. And fourth, we will further play our role in helping build a moderately prosperous society in all respects and contributing to the great renewal of the Chinese nation. We are committed to building consensus, deepening exchanges, expanding the scope of our cooperation, and contributing to the fostering of a new development paradigm. We have overcome the impact of COVID-19 and worked to take care of the needs of the different localities and regions in China. And we have introduced new initiatives for political party exchanges, which cover almost all the provinces in China, except Taiwan province. And also, the fifth, we will play a greater role in help building a community with a shared future for mankind, upholding world peace, promoting common development, safeguarding equity and justice, and demonstrating the sense of responsibility of our nation and our party. And we have contributed to the building of a new type of international relations and the principles of consultation and collaboration for shared benefits in reforming the global governance system. We have worked with other major Belt and Road Initiative countries on political party consultative frameworks and mechanisms to help build consensus with these political parties, which will help encourage their governments to participate in Belt and Road cooperation. We provided anti-epidemic supplies to more than 200 political parties from 70 countries to fight COVID-19. We also shared our experience in COVID response with other political parties. We have also encouraged our other political parties to provide assistance to more than 60 countries. And together with political parties from around the world, we made the joint call for cooperation and solidarity in the fight against COVID-19. And we also worked with more than 100 political parties, including more than 100 of those from the Islamic countries, on rejecting the violation of human rights and also in supporting the CPC's records in this area. So under the strong leadership of General Secretary Xi, as China unfolds its endeavor for building a moderately prosperous society, we will achieve even more progress in our external work. Thank you.
北区第4排那个第5。
Thank you with Phoenix TV. Our question is about the new development paradigm. General Secretary Xi Jinping mentioned that we need to grasp the new development stage, implement a new development philosophy, and foster a new development paradigm. What are the essence and features of the new development paradigm, and what will be its impact on China and the world economy? Thank you. To accelerate the fostering of a new development paradigm featuring domestic circulation as the mainstay and domestic and international circulations reinforcing each other is an important strategic decision made by the CPC Central Committee with General Secretary Xi Jinping at the core. Currently, China is leading the pack in terms of COVID response as well as economic and social recovery. China was the only major economy that secured a positive growth last year, and this year, China expected to achieve a higher growth with a recovery nature, which will further consolidate the progress of our COVID response. This means the decision on building a new development paradigm is highly targeted, forward-looking, and pioneering. It is an absolutely right decision. Its impact will continue to unfold in the future. On the essence and features of the development paradigm, I have already talked a lot about that, and let me add a few more points. First, the new development paradigm is not a domestic circulation behind closed doors. Instead, it is the dual circulations. The domestic circulation is the basic underpinning for China's sustained and sound economic development, but we can never give up international division of labor and cooperation. Instead, we need to promote high-level opening up at broader ranges and with more in-depth efforts. We will attract high-level talents, knowledge, expertise, and managerial experience to increase the quality and level of the domestic circulation. Second, the new paradigm does not focus on demand side only, but instead it will focus on structural side, supply side structural reform as the main line. We need to start on both sides. While expanding domestic demand, we will focus on building a high quality and efficient industrial chain, supply chain, and innovation chain. We will make supply and demand more compatible, remove impediments in the circulation, and improve the quality, efficiency, and resilience of the supply system. Third, the new development paradigm is not a partial circulation. Instead, it is an overall circulation of the whole of the economy. It covers state-owned enterprises, private enterprises, and foreign firms. They all have their places in the new development paradigm. We will not opt for autarky. Instead, we will focus on improving the interconnectedness of the domestic market and improve the grand unified national market featuring a level playing field. It will be a long process of our effort to foster a new development paradigm. Domestically, it will make the development more resilient, expand rooms for development, underpin high-quality growth, promote people's lives, and contribute to our effort to fully build a modern socialist country. Internationally, the effort will provide countries with more market opportunities and cooperation opportunities, and add new impetus to global economic recovery and continued growth. So it can be said that our effort to foster a new development paradigm is being advanced against the backdrop of international complexities, and it is the China solution and China contribution for economic globalization and common prosperity of all. Thank you all for the briefing, and this is the end of the second press briefing. Thank you.